Welcome back to some more Tatarigoroshi. So where we last left off, you know what? I gotta tell you what happened. One of my the recording data got a little bit corrupted, and the save data as well. Of course, I had to it took me a while because and thanks to Wilco, I managed to get rid of the corrupted save files. So hopefully it doesn't happen like last time. So I'm gonna view these new tips. I'm not sure if I read them. I may have to read them again. Research notes. Okay, so just to be sure. May have to turn this down too, in case anything like scared of crap. Because the one time Mion just popped out of nowhere. The Hojo family. Every year, Oyashiro-sama's curse claims 2 victims. This means that with 4 years in a row, there have been 8 now, but it's worthwhile to note half of them have been members of this family. Note the curse in the second year, a certain falling accident involved the death of Hojo, a dam proponent, and the disappearance of his wife. She was pronounced dead the following year after being considered to have vanished under perilous circumstances. The curse in the 4th year involved the death of the Hojo siblings and who was then their foster mother, and the disappearance of their elder brother. The Hojo family is a poor one, and it's hard to say Mr. Hojo's job went very well. Apparently, upon reemployment via family connections, there was a plan for them to return to the home of the mother's side of the family. For Mr. Hojo, the eviction due to the Hinamizawa Dam project and the payment of a large amount of compensation money was essentially a windfall. Mr. Hojo aggressively accepted the Ministry of Construction's negotiations from an early stage and selected others from Hinamizawa who were also dam proponents. It was rumored he had been bought out by the Ministry of Construction for doing so, but the truth is unknown. However, the dam's proponents were in the vastly outnumbered minority. In addition, as the Sonozaki family strengthened its own foundation and promised support against the dam, all the proponents save for Mr. Hojo switched over to the anti-dam side. At this point, Hinamizawa was completely united against the dam, and Mr. Hojo was held up to ridicule as a stooge of the dam project's proponents. He was essentially used as a scapegoat for the anti-dam collision. In the end, the dam project collapsed with the Yoshiro-sama's curse and the dismemberment incident. However, punishment towards the bitter enemies supporting the dam project continues to this day. There are not many left today who supported the dam project, nor who had a negative reputation at the time. If there were any candidates left for the curse, it's the husband of the housewife who was beaten to death last year, Teppei Hojo, and Mr. Hojo's daughter, Satoko Hojo. Strangely, these two are the only candidates left. Will this year's curse come down on the two of them? There is more than enough value in observing them both. Okay, so that's taken care of. Oishi's post memo. Of course, Oishi is a complete ass. To Oishi-san, there was a call for you from Section 4's Chief Shigeharu. Apparently the slaughter corpse in the Ojikawa rivers were related to the S-crew, as we thought. We're still verifying what happened behind the scenes, but apparently the deceased filled up dozens of self-created digital bank accounts to their limits with money from the S-group, reaching around 100 million yen. It appears there were 3 or 4 men with former S-group connections involved in this. They've already disappeared along with millions of yen. The deceased was tortured on that point for information, and she was clearly slaughtered as an example to others. There are apparently some real wizards chasing down the people who disappeared. They're also spreading letters to related Yakuza groups not to harbor them. There's still no evidence that Teppei Hojo is one of those people. From what Chief Shigeharu has seen, nothing's been announced. For such a dependent, the man wasn't trusted at all. Teppei Hojo has left his apartment in Okonomiya and has returned to his former residence in Hinamizawa. Okay, so that was it. Okay, let's look at all tips. Okay, I already read all of them anyway. Good old Shion. Oh, man. So, let's see here. Okay, first let me just save again. Just to be sure. I don't want this shit to happen. Alright, let's move to part 6. Is Hojo-san staying home today too? Furu-san, do you know anything? The teacher's voice wasn't critical, but Rika-chan hung her head, unable to answer, and I felt really bad for her. Oh, I can't believe I had to re-record an hour worth of footage. The teacher called Rika-chan up and they had an exchange in hushed tones at the dais. At first, Rika-chan said that Satoko's fever had grown worse, but everyone in class knew it was a lie. Because every day, Rika-chan brought Satoko's bento with her. Satoko-chan, I wonder what happened. Don't ask me. I'm the one who wants to know most of all. It was already the third day since Satoko's first absence. Ever since then, I haven't felt good. Until just last Sunday, everything had been so much fun. I had reached out to Satoko like a real older brother, and we spent that time quietly but warm and comfortable. So why had it suddenly been flipped over? The more I thought about it, the more I thought that the world had taken a turn for the worse ever since Oishi arrived. Thinking on it now, maybe the strange apprehensions plaguing me the night before Oishi arrived had been a sign. Kurado Oishi, or Yashiro-sama's servant. Shit, that's impossible. They can't decide Satoko will be the curse victim this year just because he showed up. Just what sort of slip-up had I committed to cause those fun times to end so suddenly? Yes, it was the day before Oishi appeared. Shion, Mion, and Reina, the Serievon, had spoken of the curse surrounding Satoshi and his disappearance, and it was so sinister it gave me a bad premonition. A deadly premonition. Such a small thing was the slip-up that invited Oyashiro-sama's servant. Really now, it was absurd. I kept on groaning to myself that I would never accept it, ever. I obviously wasn't the only one suppressing my feelings. Mion and Reina were too. Everyone in the class was doing it. Rika-chan knew something about Satoko's situation, but she wouldn't tell us. Rika-chan still held a calm attitude like a cat basking in the sun, but she was being unbelievably stubborn about this whole thing. She didn't want to tell us, and that wouldn't change no matter how many times we asked her. Everyone understood that, so nobody questioned her. If Rika-chan won't talk, then we just have to wait, and she might not be talking because it's something not worth saying. There was no persuasive power and reassurance given with an ancient's face like that. No words. Mion was being taciturn and whatever that word is, and just looked up at the sky with a somehow annoyed expression. I couldn't tell if she was unhappy that Rika-chan wouldn't talk about it with her own friends, or if she was concerned over Satoko's well-being. And what about me? My anxiety was suffocating me day after day. If someone else were looking at me, then maybe I'd look annoyed, like Mion did. Tap, tap. Someone tapped my shoulder. It was Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun. Abara-san, do you have a minute? Did your ball get stuck again? You guys have to get it yourself this time. Don't rely on the older kids for everything. I didn't feel like going along with him, so I was a little unsympathetic with my response. We heard a little interesting rumor. Ooh, gee, I wonder. A rumor? Yeah, I just thought it might have something to do with that. A rumor. About Satoko. They hadn't said that, but it didn't seem unrelated. They didn't want to talk in the classroom, so they pulled me behind the school building, lending further credence to that thought. The back of the school was damp and humid like always. The students didn't really come here because they wanted to. It might, however, have been the ideal location for trading rumors away from prying eyes. Tomita-kun, Okamura-kun, these rumors, they're about why Satoko's absent, right? You don't know if it has something to do with it, though, or maybe. What on earth happened to Satoko? Is she sick? Or could she be, like, really sick or injured or something? No, actually, it's the opposite. I heard my grandma saying that she came to buy tofu at our shop yesterday. Oh, Tomita's family runs a tofu shop, added Okamura-kun. She went shopping to buy some tofu? My voice sounds so stupefied even I can tell. It was understandable. A little creepy. I was worried about what grave illness or injury she had, even when the person herself had been out and about shopping for her tofu. So how was she? Did she look okay? Was she wearing a mask like she was getting better? Or was she using crutches, or did she have bandages on her? No, there wasn't really any signs of sickness or injuries on her, but I should have felt relieved that it wasn't illness or an injury, but my anxiety wasn't going away. because Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun's expressions weren't looking any better. She apparently came to buy one piece of soft tofu, but my grandma said it was strange. Gee, I wonder how strange is that? Strange? Why? What's wrong with buying soft tofu? Irritated by how roundabout they were being, I had to desperately fight that irritation from creeping into my voice. Well, Hojo and Farud live by themselves and they don't have that much money, right? So they only ever buy the cheaper, firmer kind of tofu. They've never bought the soft stuff. It's the most expensive thing there. Soft or hard, they're both tofu, right? Maybe she just wanted to eat some great tofu or something. Well, maybe, but I knew how transparent I sounded right then. This wasn't anything trivial, it was some kind of important clue. Not the cheap firm tofu, but the expensive soft kind. Shopping not in the evening after school, but in the middle of the day. I couldn't figure out what those things meant. As I thought about it, Okamura-kun took his turn to speak. Me next. This is just a rumor. But apparently he's back. He? Who? Who's back? Hojo's uncle. Oh god. Satoko's uncle. Right, I think Coach told me about him. Their aunt and uncle had taken them in after Satoko and Satoshi lost their parents in an accident. Hojo's uncle. They said he skipped town last year, scared of a Yashiro-sama's curse. He's really scary and violent, like a gang member. Everything Coach told me came back in bits and pieces. Right. The mean aunt and uncle had tormented them all the time. I think he said that after their aunt was beaten to death by the deviant, he ran away to his lover's house in Okonomi in fear of the curse. Why would she be staying at home from school and shopping for soft tofu in the middle of the day just because her uncle came back? To be honest, I'd rather prefer firm tofu. No words. My underclassmen clammed up and looked downwards. There must have been some big hints buried in there. Even if I didn't understand, if I told Mion or Reina about it, maybe they'd know something. Oh, my bad, you two. You were nice enough to talk about it, and I started hammering you with questions. Oh, no, it's okay. Now we know that she hasn't been in bed this whole time, gravely ill. That's worth something, right? That might be true, but it won't make the clouds over my mind fade away. Ah, my over there. Okamura-kun cried wildly, pointing over my shoulders behind me. Startled, I turned around and away on the other side of the schoolyard, near the school gate, I saw a figure trudging forth. Ah, it's Hojo. I burst into a run faster than I could speak. Why does she look so sad? So that as quickly as possible I could see with my own eyes that she was okay. Satoko! Satoko seemed taken aback by me shouting and running over to her. What the heck? Running over to her. She went from sad to normal. What the hell? Oh, what is it, Keiichi-san? You surprised me with all the yelling and running. Stupid. Enough about me already. 3 days. What happened, Satoko? I'm so worried. Oh, ho, ho, ho. What a worrywart. It was only 3 days. You're such a worrywart, Keiichi-san. From listening to her, she seemed like the normal Satoko, but I could tell she was clearly acting strangely. Her smile was somehow forlorn, and her complexion was bad for some reason. Hojo, were you alright? Were you sick or something? Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun both expressed their concerns. Just what happened anyway? 3 days. Do you know how worried I was? Oh, I do so apologize. I was just giving the house a good cleaning. We haven't used it for a rather long time, so everything was covered in dust. Huh? Satoko, what the fuck are you talking about? Crude humor. Why would you have to stay home from school to clean the house? Satoko didn't answer me. Instead, she passed by me and headed for the entrance. Gosh, it's nearly about lunchtime, is it not? I'm just starving. It was certainly lunch break. I couldn't force her to stop after she told me she wanted lunch since she was so hungry. Well, whatever. Rika-chan's been bringing your lunch for 3 days now. You look like you can eat it today. Let's just go to the classroom. Put everyone's minds at ease. You're right. I suppose I may have caused everyone to worry. Oh ho ho. It sure is tough being popular. I don't, I don't see how, I don't see how I can make that comparison when it comes to celebrities and such. I put a hand on Satoko's shoulder and we ran to the classroom together. Up close, I was able to verify that Satoko looked somehow weak. Yeah, I can tell on her eyes. All this anxiety was supposed to go away when I saw her again. That's what I had thought. Now I actually started to have quite different fears. What the heck happened, Satoko? Everyone in the same class, of course, reacted in the same exact way I had. Worried about you. I'm glad to see you well. What were you doing for 3 days? Same old questions. It's like, what do they call it? The fucking reporters and all that shit. Asking the celebrity like bunch of shitload of questions. Our classmates shouted her questions. I truly do apologize for causing a fuss. Oh ho ho ho. As she cackled, she chowed on the bento Rika-chan had made for her. Those in the teacher's lounge must have been informed of Satoko's arrival, because our teacher sprinted into the classroom, her breathing ragged. Ojo-san. Oh, sensei. I'm sorry for worrying you these 3 days. Oh ho ho. As you can see, I am fit as a fiddle. My, I was very worried about you. When you are done eating, come right to the teacher's lounge. I have a lot to talk to you about. I must be in for a good scolding for those 3 days I cut class. Oh ho ho. Satoko laughed sheepishly while she scratched her head, and the rest of the class burst out into laughter. The teacher was acting angry, but she breathed a sigh of relief at seeing Satoko healthy and smiling as she ate her lunch with the class surrounding her. What a relief, right, Reina? Huh? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm glad she's okay. What were you thinking? I looked at Reina and knew. She had a sense that something about Satoko was off too. I looked to see Mion detached from the clamor as well, with a somewhat grim expression. But Rika-chan, on the other hand, was smiling from ear to ear. She spread out the bento boxes one by one as Satoko finished them. Finally, Satoko was satisfied, and after enjoying a thorough conversation with her classmates, remembered that she'd been called to the teacher's lounge. Such a pain, but I think she'll be angry if I don't go. I'll go with you. Satoko rises from her seat and runs over to her. I do apologize, Keiji-san. I'll be right back after getting scolded. Right. I mean, I could go with you too. We're all comrades in getting scolded in the teacher's lounge ever since the curry incident, right? That won't be necessary. Keiji shouldn't mind the place while we're away. Rika-chan's words were gentle, but the firm rejection was clear in her eyes. The two of them exited into the hallway, walking shoulder to shoulder. After seeing them off, the class breathed a collective sigh of relief, broke apart, and went back to their usual lunch break banter. We, however, couldn't go back to how we usually were. No words. Look how serious it is. Not I, not Mion, and of course, not Reina. They stared at the classroom exit Satoko and Rika-chan had left through, their expressions a little distant and grim. We're all friends, isn't that right? I blurted out something strange, so Mion and Reina turned around with dubious expressions. I won't keep anything from my friends, so I'll tell you what I just heard a little while ago. I told them the stories I heard from Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun earlier about the tofu shop and how Satoko's uncle had apparently come back, all at once without letting them speak. And that's all I know, so if either of you know anything, please say so. I've said everything I can. I ended my sentence firmly and looked into Mion and Reina's eyes in turn. Reina stared right back at me. Her eyes didn't falter. Without even opening her mouth, I could tell she wasn't hiding anything. Then our gazes turned to Mion. It's not like I was trying to keep it a secret or anything. You and your tsundere bullshit. Mion couldn't seem to endure our silent stares and began to talk timidly, as if she was guilty of something. It's just, now that you've said something, Kei-chan, I guess I have to talk about it. Mi-chan, you know something? Well, I mean, I knew from the first day that Satoko's uncle had come home, that he just randomly showed up in Namizawa last Sunday. Why didn't you tell us that? I'm sorry. My angry shout caused Mion to flinch away, look down, and hang her head uncomfortably. Well, I mean, we should have known that by now, but no. We just had to delay that. Hey, Chikun, there's nothing to get angry about. You're scaring me-chan. Huh? Oh, sorry, I shouted at you. I lowered my head in apology. Mion accepted it, collected herself, and continued. According to her, her uncle's relationship with his lover, whom he had been with in Okonomiya, had collapsed. Without anywhere to go, he went back home to Hinamizawa. And on that Sunday, the day of the barbecue, her uncle ran into Satoko and brought her back to the house. Why? Why did he bring her with him? Because he's a good-for-nothing parasite. Well, she is right after all. Can't even cook by himself, much less do any cleaning. Bet he's a old fat ass. But that's... You brought Satoko-chan back to have her cook and clean? I remember that she said she'd been cleaning the house when I met her back at the school gate. A moment later, the pieces fell into place into the jigsaw puzzle of unease. And as for what the puzzle depicted when I saw it from afar, I could see the answer clearly. Satoko was locked up at home and tormented into doing the housework. Those are the rumors. If you knew that, why didn't you speak up? I nearly yelled at Amian, but hastily stopped myself. Oh my gosh. Mi-chan, is that true? I haven't seen it myself, so I don't know if it's true or not. Amian looked down again and staring at the floor grew quiet. Just like last year? Like when they lived with their mean uncle and his wife? But this uncle is completely helpless when it comes to housework, right? If Satoko's that important, then there wouldn't be any reason to torment her, would there? Heichikun, I don't know what grounds you have for saying that, but you shouldn't be so irresponsible. Reina clearly and directly got mad at me. You don't know much about this, so don't talk as though you do. Yes, that's clearly what she meant. Fine, then do you know something, Reina? I don't know anything either. I didn't know her uncle had taken her to the house until hearing it just now. But the situation is different from a year ago. The situation is different, and what does that mean? Satoshi-kun isn't here. Satoshi really cared about his little sister. He always stuck up for her. He was her shield so that she would be affected just a little less by their mean aunts and uncles fighting. The mean uncle and Satoko-chan are the only ones living there now. Can't you imagine how stifling that must be, Keiichi-kun? He only even came back because he broke up with the woman he was staying with. Do you think a person who came back with such an unpleasant reason would be able to treat Satoko-chan kindly? Well, oh boy. I don't know how to answer that. She was right. It wasn't easy for me to imagine Satoko not being tormented. Sorry. Oh no, I'm sorry too. I sounded like I was interrogating you, didn't I? Oh. Interrogating? Huh. I don't know how that's interrogating, but okay, we'll go along with that. An awkward atmosphere followed among us. The three of us remained silent and just stared at the floor. Finally, we heard the principal's bell ringing. The teacher came back with Satoko and Rika-chan at her side. Alright, we're starting afternoon class. Class president, please. Everybody stand up. Oh ho ho ho, I'm sorry. How rude of me. I couldn't read anything from Satoko's vaguely sheepish expression. But given the clouded look Rika-chan was wearing behind her, it was tough to laugh off the disquieting story I'd heard from Mion. Alright, first time in a while everyone's been here. Let's all have a roaring good time with the whole club. Yeah, perfect. Indeed, in times like these, the best thing to do was obviously get rowdy and scheme against one another in a club activity. Good old times. Just what I was waiting for. Hey, Satoko-chan, let's play. There was that game you liked, wasn't there? What was it again? It doesn't matter which. Tell me. Tell me? Tell me. Mion laughed happily, took a bunch of games out of the club locker and lined them up on the desks. I think that was the first time Mion's ever let someone else decide on a game for her. I could tell she was being especially considerate to Satoko, thinking that whatever her circumstances, if we could just enjoy our time together as a group, that might be some comfort, some diversion. Satoko seemed to understand her feelings too and smiled vaguely, though displeased. Why did I say displeased? I meant to say pleased. And smiled vaguely, though pleased. But her head slowly moved from side to side. I'm very grateful, but your feelings are enough. There are many things I need to do, so... Even Rika-chan hung her head in remorse. Hey, whoa, seriously? All the club members are here for once and we're not playing anything? Desertion in the face of the enemy. What was the punishment game? What was the punishment game for it? What part of the club constitution was that in? Stop it, Mi-chan. We can't force her to play with us. Hey, this old man isn't trying to force her or anything. I just thought it would be more fun for sure if we did something exciting. Really, I'm happy you feel that way. Don't worry, next time we meet you'll see. I'll get you all caught in a gigantic trap. Oh, ho, ho, ho. And she just left. Satoko, while insulting us, still said she couldn't participate in the club today and apologized. She quickly put her things into her bag and pattered out into the hallway, disappearing. It all happened in the blink of an eye. Satoko. Rika-chan stared lonesomely as her friend hurried home, unable to be part of club activities. Alright, I think now is a good time for me to end the recording there. So let me see if this save works. Yep, it works. Alright, so next part, I'm gonna see what it's like. We're gonna see what's coming up after Satoko has left. So, like, comment, and subscribe, and see you guys later. Have a good day.